everybody. I'm Will.
And I'm Kristen.
And this is So I'm Watching Palm Royale, Season 1, Episode 3.
Maxine's like a Dellacourt.
So there's not a lot happening.
No. No, I read you that tweet.
You did?
I read you that tweet because it was like one of those weird notifications that you get where they're trying to like lure you back into the thing.
They compared it to Gilded Age.
Yeah, oh shit. It like, I think it went away. It was like if it had the pacing of the Gilded Age, but the vibes of Feud or something like that. It was like a whole bunch of different things, and I was like, so nothing's gonna happen, but it's gonna look amazing.
And I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
More so, because I had a similar take on Feud, Capote versus the Swans.
Sure.
I am enjoying this more because this is confectionery in a way that was really presenting a visual standard.
I agree.
My issue is going to be I think I'm a little bit too much looking for something that's not there.
I think you are. I agree.
Around the 20-minute mark of this episode, I go, aha, have we seen Douglas interact with anyone else? And you were like, yes. Evelyn at the bar. And I was like, damn.
Yeah.
She always kept saying he's in the air somewhere. And I was like, he's dead.
No, he is a literal pilot. A literal airline pilot.
But again, enjoying it. I'll say it every time. I'll watch it like a screensaver. And not for nothing, that is part of the fun for me, is we're 3 episodes in, and we get to a point at about 2/3, 3/5 way through the episode, where I go, oh, this is it. This is what it's about. Because they're still not buying her. Somewhere I was thinking that she was maybe pulling this off.
No, because,
not even a little bit.
No, Evelyn knows that she is being a huckster, and Dinah knows that she's being a huckster. So, like, Mary is the...
Mary!
She came in hot.
Her bonnet this episode.
She came in hot.
I liked her when she was doing her laps in the pool with her champagne flute.
Well, and she just keeps, like, doing quaaludes and stuff. When they were passing the pills around, when they were doing the pill trade at the cocktail hour, hilarious.
But we saw, so it seems that Robert, do we think he was actually devoted to Norma?
I don't know. He said not like that to Laura Dern. I'm not convinced it wasn't like that still.
Well, I think it very clearly was, because she wanted to play doctor, but I was unsure of, they're banging. We know one thing.
Yeah.
But I'm sort of, well, what else sort of explains his presence in this house?
Well, he doesn't have anywhere else to go.
No, I get, well, yeah, maybe I'm still looking for too much.
Yeah.
He seems like he seems like he's standing vigil, almost.
Well, if he was in love with her, then... Yeah.
I don't know.
He has nowhere else to go. And we don't know how much of him is real either, but he's telling Laura Dern that he was in the shit in Vietnam, and now he's back, and...
You want to talk some more about Laura Dern and Vietnam?
Okay. That labored metaphor about how the Vietnam War is like a bride getting left at the altar? No. Although, now...
It served its purpose.
Do you know what I just thought? I think Douglas left her at the altar. And that's why she's stealing the Rolodex.
And she's so reluctant.
She's, like, in it with Maxine, but not really in it with Maxine. I think she's a little torn.
She's still in the Rolodex?
She's stealing.
Still in.
No, stealing the Rolodex.
Well, because, Robert had the Rolodex in his...
Because he finally cleaned Norma's room in his, like, bomb pool house.
You think you've seen The Color Blue before? And then they cut to his pool house.
It was very good.
And, Ricky Martin pulling off workable chemistry with Laura Dern. Sure. And, that was kind of...
She was thirsty. Because that's the thing, she made that labored metaphor about the Vietnam War, and they are just, obviously, I'm not arguing that the Vietnam War was a good thing to get into. It was obviously terrible and wrong and a total lie, but at the feminist group, they're going on and on about the Vietnam War, and then she immediately sets eyes.
She was retrofitting it into.
She like immediately sets eyes on like hunky Ricky Martin pool boy, and she's like, Semper Fi, Marine, and I'm like, bitch, you can't be that against the military-industrial complex and then still want to f that Marine.
The duality of man.
No.
A woman. The winter Vester. We had another, what did, fucking Kristen Wiig dismissing her?
She was just like...
and we just sort of laughed out loud. But yeah, so she's in the shiny sheet.
Mm-hmm.
They are wondering who she is, so she has properly infiltrated the Dellacourt mansion. She got she coerced Linda into helping her. Linda's pretty willing. She makes a big show about being reluctant.
Yeah.
But it's very, I mean, she already had 2 feet in the door. You
yeah,
know?
No, totally. I'm also like, I'm having some issues with like people's motivations because like,
and then you realize that there aren't any.
Well, that's the thing, because I'm like, what is Virginia's motivation for trying to like force her to be at this meeting that she doesn't want her to be at anyway? Like, Maxine doesn't want to be there. Virginia doesn't want her to be there. Linda only sort of wants her to be there. And still Virginia is like, sit down and you can do what you're doing after the meeting. And I'm like, I don't understand.
I'm also finding it like amusing in maybe a tad trite way, because I definitely understand your point where you're coming from with their second wave feminism side, but also Maxine's kind of doing a boffo job.
Well, that's the thing. I mean,
like, we're here to serve our husbands. And
well, okay.
It's like there are good points to be made on both sides of this debate, neither of which are being made on this show.
Sure, because for my money, what Maxine is saying just needs one more sentence, which is, I lift up my husband so he can lift me up in return. But she's stopping before she gets there because she doesn't know any better, and she's a pageant girl from Chattanooga, and I understand. But the other thing, too, is that, like, we find out, I mean, because I've felt that it was very transparent the whole time, but we find out in this episode that really, truly, the only real reason that Linda is in this is because she got left by a man at the altar. So now she's bitter. She is the cliche. And so she's doing this and telling herself that it makes her feel good. But at one point in time...
So Virginia needs to be mad at Linda, not Maxine.
At one point in time, all Linda wanted to do was be married. Or it was like the thing she thought she was gonna do, but one way or the other.
It seems that Linda was very good at this,
yeah.
Even if it was not maybe her life force.
Yeah.
She could play the game well.
But she also said, I miss doing things on this scale.
Well, because sometimes frivolity is
and
fun.
Here's the other thing.
A little pretense never hurt anybody.
She could be living the second wave feminist dream and opening a catering company and catering all these parties.
You just wanted to cut straight through to like the actual porn for you.
Come on,
the actual lifestyle porn. It seems that the other reason, other than that sort of flashback where Norma was doing the invitations and called Robert to play doctor, other than the playing doctor line, he didn't touch her room, and he was really like holding vigil, like standing. I'm keeping that talking point, and so he was cleaning it up. Which how long has Norma been out of it?
A few months at least. Yeah,
because those, I'm gonna do my flower petal thing. Those were fresh flower petals.
They were like a little wrinkly and like, but they weren't like fully dried. Yeah. I mean, it's been weeks at least. Yeah.
But he found a hypodermic needle.
Yeah.
That, with the way the show's going, I'm semi-waiting for a flashback of him administering it.
Well,
I was like, were you finding it as in that's where I left it? Or were you finding it as in foul play?
That's suspicious. Yeah, I have no idea.
Also, what is an embolism? Is it like a stroke? Or...
Kind of, yeah.
Okay.
Well, it also, they said it moved.
To her lungs?
Embolism. Blockage of a blood vessel by an embolus. Don't use the word
in the definition.
You're killing me. But yeah, so, but they said it moved to her lungs. So that's a pulmonary embolism, I think. pulmonary is lungs.
It's also odd to me.
In most cases, the hope is that your body will eventually dissolve the clot on its own. And this is being 1969. The treatments were not as
It's also odd to me how passive a participant Douglas is.
He's just living his life. Okay.
It's almost like he doesn't even realize she's doing this.
Sure.
Like, it's news to him they're in the house.
Sure. Well, she sent that telegram.
Sure.
Which was hilarious.
But he came in and he was like, hey, I hadn't been here in a while.
Yeah. She went back to the pawn shop to do it, and he had to, like, pull down the Western Union thing and put the vest on and everything. I was going to say something.
Sorry.
Oh, no. My problem is, like, in the 60s, I think pilots were, like, pretty well off. And so I'm like, why couldn't you pay your motel bill? And, like, certainly not $75,000 for that stupid cat that you broke, and then Robert tied a ribbon around its neck, like the lady in that story. But, so that, I'm just sort of like, they should have enough money to, like, fake it on a budget a little bit, partially.
So, Maxine did get sort of a little bit of a lesson that one of the points of all of these balls and events and stuff is to, not insider trading, but to, what do they call it?
Sort of like, not extortion, but it's sort of like embezzlement.
Yeah, there you go. Embezzle money into your own pockets.
Well, I think it's given Maxine an idea that she could then skim money off the top. And then when she obviously gets together with Evelyn at the end, she's like, you have $0.
Basically, Evelyn called it out and was like, you're broke. We all know it. How long is this going to last? What's your end game?
Yeah.
And Maxine proposes kind of a truce, like because Evelyn's grip is loosening as well.
Yeah.
And she's like, why don't we work together? And Evelyn's sort of like, over my dead body. And Maxine was like, okay, well, we can also do this the hard way. You need me.
Yeah.
And Evelyn was like, you find the Rolodex, and then maybe.
Which I also think she basically is gonna... I think it sounded like she was gonna pay Maxine's debts, too. Because she is still writing
checks.
Just bad check after bad check. And because that was, for me, I was like, why haven't you found Norma's checkbook and be writing checks out of Norma's account? Because it's clear she's getting nervous every time she's writing a check. And it's literally, I mean, I've seen Catch Me If You Can. It is literally a matter of days before
hours.
one of these bad checks comes back to haunt her.
So, and then Mitzi's boyfriend dumped her. They had sex and they had dinner. Maxine was upset about that. And I was like, I've never been a big fan of the eating first and then having sex.
Well, no, for sure. But it didn't seem like she was upset about it. She just was, like, confused. Like, you had sex before dinner? As if it's, like, a strictly...
And then Mitzi went...
After night? Yeah.
Went and paid for dinner. So Maxine gave her the $20? Or did they just talk about it?
I think she gave it to her because she wanted her nails done.
Right.
Yeah.
But Mitzi's going to play a role somewhere. She's very deliberately on this show.
Yeah.
So I want a little bit more from Raquel.
Oh.
The Cuban woman.
Yeah.
I like her.
To the point where I was like, who?
I like her. I'm done with Mary. I want more from Raquel, and I want more from, is it Anne? The Facts of Life? Mm-hmm. She was fun. I like her. Yeah. I didn't really watch Facts of Life, but I'm familiar enough with it that I feel a little bit programmed to respond
to her,
to her face. It's like a Pavlovian thing. So, yeah, and then not much from Dina this episode. Dinah, I keep wanting to call her Dina.
No, she's good. They were all very snippy when they got to the house. And also, here's my thing about Maxine: you're totally right, because we were talking about this with something else with Gabby and Yao Lin on Desperate Housewives, where I'm like, why are you being so mean to Robert? You know he's a bartender at the club. Let him keep living in the pool house and be your bartender. If you had not been such a bitch to him, he would have helped you.
We're obviously going to get there. Yeah. That was one I did look, and it, like I said, this has very mixed reviews. And one of the things was that the episode order is too padded out. So I think that they're kind of killing time before we get to the cahoots part.
Is it more? Oh, it is 10. Yeah, shit.
This feels like a 6 or 8.
Yeah, 10 feels like too many. It's fine.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'll look at it. You'll find out. We'll all find out together, won't we?
We will.
And someone does end up dying, I guess. There's a gun that gets fired.
Which was the Ricky, I think that was like a...
Oh, do you think it was red herring?
Sort of. He had like a gun and Laura Dern's delivery, what the fuck? And then it was a lighter. Amazing.
There are just a handful of like, this is an example. The Ryan Murphy comparisons are apt because the cast is elevating the material. Like they are finding juice, like they're finding stuff in it.
They're mining.
There you go.
What it is. Yeah.
That part.
Finding juice is zoinks.
They're milking that stone. So, all right. There is one more episode, and then we're
caught up.
Weekly?
Yep.
So, okay.
Bye.